We've got an exciting Friday here on Locked On Blue Devils today. A fill in the blank Friday, some off-season topics that we want to touch on with our pal Kevin Connelly, the site expert from Durham. Let's get after it.
Hi, everybody. Dick Vitale. Hey, make sure you listen, man, to Locked On Blue Devils with JJ Jackson. He's awesome, baby.
You are Locked On Blue Devils, your daily podcast on the Duke Blue Devils, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into another episode of the Locked On Blue Devils podcast. My name is JJ Jackson. It's so great to have you here with us on Friday, May 3rd, 2024. Locked On Blue Devils, of course, is your one-stop shop for everything going on in the life of Duke athletics. I want to say thank you so much to all of our everydayers out there who are so loyal to this program, who watch or listen each and every day. Thanks for listening and watching yesterday's show. A fun crossover that we had with Drake Toll, the host of Locked On Big 12, talking about some possibilities for realignment that could be coming. A really fun episode. If you missed that, go back and check that out on the Locked On Network. Locked On Podcast Network, of course, your team every single day. If you have not done so already, please be sure to follow and subscribe to Locked On Blue Devils for free, wherever it is that you get your podcast. Leave us a 5-star rating and written review. Also, make sure that you watch the show each and every day on YouTube. Like this video, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button. We want to continue to climb in subscribers here on the program and really do appreciate your support. Duke's trying to put a roster together. We're entering into the offseason, and so we've got a fill-in-the-blank Friday that we're going to dive into with our pal Kevin Connelly, the site expert for Durham. So make sure you follow us on X at LO_Blue Devils, and I'm there as well at _JJ_Jackson_. So without further ado, excited to bring him on in. Here is Kevin Connelly back with us once again. Kevin, the time is greatly appreciated. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, JJ. How about you?
Very well. Thank you for asking. Want some more news with the Duke basketball team as we got those first couple of commits out of the transfer portal in Malik Brown and Mason Gillis, but we've been kind of holding steady, waiting for the next guy to come up on the radar and possibly commit to the Duke basketball team.
Yeah, you have those two forwards. You're still looking at a guard, maybe another wing. I think guard is the priority right now. But it's difficult because a lot of guys in the transfer portal, they want big roles. They want starting spots at their next destinations. And even if they don't get them at a big-time power conference school, you can still go to a mid-major and play anywhere between 25 to 35 minutes a game. And that's not really what Duke is offering right now. They're offering more of a backup spot behind Tyrese Proctor and Caleb Foster. So I think there's pressure on John Shire, obviously, to try to find the right fit that could mesh with this backcourt. And obviously, you have to be honest and upfront with the recruits about the potential playing time there's going to be.
Excited to talk about what guys could be coming in to join the Brotherhood in the days and weeks to come, and talk a lot about this Duke basketball team going into next season. It's a fill-in-the-blank Friday. You're very familiar with these, Kevin. We've got some topics that we want to go over. Pick a word, a phrase. There are no true rules into how this is done. And of course, we'll post these down in the description below. And in the comment section, I'd love to hear from Duke basketball fans how they would answer questions to this. So here's the first one, Kevin. It states, in my opinion, this Duke basketball recruiting class ranks blank in the 21st century amongst previous Duke recruiting classes.
This one is interesting because obviously they've never played a game together, right? But you're headlined by Cooper Flagg, who's projected number one pick in 2025. According to a lot of the high school basketball and recruiting experts, he's one of the best prospects in high school basketball. Just going through it, I think you have to put 2014 ahead of them because they won a national championship with Jahlil Okafor and Tyus Jones, Justice Winslow, Grayson Allen. I think it's a debate 2018 with Zion and RJ and Cam Reddish and Trey Jones, and obviously Joey Baker was in that recruiting class as well. I think you really have to debate them because they win an ACC championship. They make a run to the Elite Eight. So without seeing this team on paper, I'd say right now they could be considered top three. But I'm sure if you slice through it a little bit more and other recruiting classes, I'd probably say safely top five.
Here's the proper way that we can handle this one. In my opinion, this Duke basketball recruiting class ranks towards the top in the 21st century amongst previous Duke recruiting classes. Again, any phrases will work here, but yeah, when you think about what Cooper Flagg is, when you think about what Common Malawik will be, and Patton Gamba is getting more and more praise and buzz as he continues to get back healthy from injuries that he sustained. We saw the big run that Darren Harris had. Isaiah Evans is remarkable. I mean, it's just top to bottom a really, really impressive recruiting class, and I think they are going to be the ones that we remember, one of the best in the 21st century. All right, let's go on. Losing over half a team to the transfer portal is blank.
Inevitable. I think that's what it is right now, especially in this
Strong
day and
word
age.
choice. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it is in this day and age in college basketball. And I think we talked about it a couple of weeks ago when all this movement started to happen. And Duke was an outlier last year, not losing anybody to the transfer portal. And then the exact polar opposite this year with 10 guys leaving, 7 to the portal, 1 to graduation, and 2 to the NBA draft. So now I don't think it's going to be as drastic next year as it was this year with having 7 guys jump into the portal. It very well could be. But you're seeing around the country most teams flipping over their roster from year to year. Now, yes, Duke was on the side losing a lot more, but it's inevitable that you're going to eventually lose anywhere probably between 3 to 5 guys per offseason to the portal.
I think you're exactly right. I think this is just the new day and age in college basketball. It's something that we've got to get familiar with. And when you're recruiting at the highest of levels, and again, not everybody can play, it's really difficult to manage kind of expectations, what people want. NIL dollars are such another true factor in all of this that is so difficult for these coaches to navigate. And from Duke's perspective, with a massive recruiting class set to come in, it's also inevitable that guys would want to head out. So, yeah, I think that's the proper word choice there, Kevin, because, again, if all these guys are coming in, people might not be too happy that we're planning to stay aboard.
Exactly. And John Shire has said it that he's still not going to turn down the high-end high school prospects. He's not going to say no thanks to a Cooper Flagg because they're going to focus on the portal. No, they're still going to recruit those absolutely top-end high school players that are still very valuable. But the thing is complementing them with veterans, with guys who have experience and know what they're getting into in college basketball. I think that's what you're seeing right now with how the roster is being built. Tyrese Proctor is going to enter yet another season at Duke. Caleb Foster, although didn't have the postseason experience because of the injury, he knows what an offseason and what most of a regular season look like at Duke. And then we talked about Mason Gillis, Malik Brown. They know what it's like to try and win. Obviously, Gillis going to the national championship game this year, and Malik Brown being through the rigors for 2 years of ACC play. So that's what you're going to get. When you're looking for transfers, you're looking for those experienced players. And like you mentioned, unlimited amount of transfers, NIL dollars just being thrown around like it's an auction. That's what you're going to get. And you're going to get a lot of guys who eventually leave your program, no matter how high of a standard you set, like a Duke or a Kansas, Kentucky, North Carolina, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, well, let's continue this conversation. Let's go through some more fill in the blanks. A fill in the blank Friday here with Kevin Connelly, the site expert for Ball Durham, and we'll keep this thing moving after our first time out here on today's show. Locked On Blue Devils here today is brought to you by our friends over at Monopoly Go. We got to pause to talk a little bit more about Monopoly Go. It's such an amazing game. You could team up with your friends for time tournaments where you work together to build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes that you unlock. And there's so much more to get. Unique stickers you could trade with friends to complete albums for big prizes, cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with, hilarious emojis for taunting your friends when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. Plus, Monopoly Go feels new and exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton include their own unique mini games like digging for treasure and so much more. There's always new timed events that help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go. So get off the bench and go download it now for free on Google Play or on the App Store. Game on. Monopoly Go is a proud sponsor of Locked On Blue Devils. Keeping this show rolling here on this Friday, JJ Jackson alongside Kevin Connelly, the site expert for Ball Durham. Tell me about your website, if you will, Kevin, and how people can follow and engage with you, all those things.
Well, you can read us over at balldurham.com. You can follow us on Twitter or X at ball_Durham. And we're on top of everything right now. Obviously, roster still taking shape. Other guys committing here or there. Earlier this morning, or I guess early afternoon, Sean Stewart announcing he was committing to Ohio State. So he's staying in the Big Ten. There's some rumors about TJ Power going to stay in the ACC, perhaps going to Boston College. So we're still all over the guys who are landing at new spots, obviously on top of Duke and guys coming in to visit and guys who they're interested in the portal. And then obviously the NBA playoffs as well we're on top of. So still a lot to do over at Ball Durham here in early May.
I love it. Go make sure you check out all of their amazing work. All right, let's get back to it. It is Fill in the Blank Friday here on Locked On Blue Devils. On to our next one here. And let's talk about this. The biggest lineup Duke basketball could put out there in 2024-2025 is blank, Kevin.
Well, this is a good one because, all right, first you're going to start Tyrese Proctor at the 1. Let me pull it up in front of me. Proctor, I think, listed around 6'5"
Right.
on the depth chart. He is. So he's 6'5". Caleb Foster is 6'5" as well. Now, I guess you could take Tyrese Proctor at the 1. You could put Isaiah Evans at the 2. You put Cooper Flagg at the 3. Patton Gongba at the 4. And Kamen Malawak at the 5. I think that would be
In terms
of guys who can actually play the position
right
of where they're on the floor. I think that would be it with Proctor at the 1, Evans at the 2, Flagg at the 3, and Gongba at the 4, and Malawak at the 5. I think that would be the biggest lineup they could put on the floor.
That'd be awesome. I was going to say this. This is how I was going to answer it. The biggest lineup Duke basketball could put out there in 2024-2025 is any of them. Because when you're talking about the smallest player on the roster are the 6'5" guards right now, Duke's in a really good spot unless a transfer portal guard comes in that's a little bit undersized compared to what Proctor and Power are. I mean, Duke's going to be in business in terms of not being kind of outmatched from a strictly physical standpoint next season, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at that first-year team with John Shire with the 2 7-footers down low and Kyle Filipowski and Derek Lively, and I think they thrive defensively. I think this team could even be better defensively next season, and a large part has to do because of their size and how they're going to have enough rim protection with Malawak and Flagg. We talked about Big Pat earlier on in the show, and he really got a lot of praise for playing in Chipotle Nationals and getting better with each of the 3 games that Paul VI played. And obviously, you didn't see him a lot out there on the high school all-star game circuit. Did play in the Jordan Brand Classic, didn't play in the Nike Hoop Summit, and then wasn't selected to the McDonald's All-American game because he really didn't play all season with the foot injury. So he's continuing to get better. He'll progress along. So, yeah, I think John Shire is going to have a lot of versatility with guys we could put on the floor at different points. And talk about Isaiah Evans. I mean, yeah, this is a guy that a lot of people, I think, are hoping or could think will start at the 3. He could probably also play some 2 as well. Should Foster get hurt again, or if he's in foul trouble, something like that. And he gives you a lot of size. Now, I think for him, there's a lot more room to grow defensively. He still has to learn the defensive instincts on the floor. But with a size like that, I think he's 6'7", and a wingspan that's approaching that 6'9", 6'10" range. He can play a lot of positions on the floor as well.
We got some big lineups coming to Duke basketball this next season. Next one here, Fill in the Blank Friday. Duke men's basketball's non-conference schedule next year will be blank. Obviously, it's not finalized 100%, but there are reports out there about games that could be possibly added, and we know of some of them as well. So what do you think about the next year's non-conference schedule, Kevin?
I think it's going to be daunting. And I think John Shire has obviously taken a new approach to how he's going to schedule the non-conference than Mike Krzyzewski did. You saw it already last year, starting the home and home with Arizona, the return game in Tucson this year. We know they're going to play Kentucky in the Champions Classic. It seems all likelihood they're going to play Kansas out in Las Vegas in a neutral site non-conference game. I know they've been rumored to be playing in this Vegas NIL basketball tournament. That would be a 3-game stretch. Now, I mean, now you're talking crazy stuff. I mean, if you're having Arizona, Kentucky, Kansas, that's already 3, and then adding 3 more non-conference games against high-quality opponents, and you're only given, I think, 11, maybe less, non-conference games per year. So more than half could be high-end games. If that comes to fruition. Now, there's nothing confirmed yet about that Vegas NIL tournament to be held in November. But kind of the basis around the Duke-Kansas game in Vegas was almost like a prelude to that tournament to get the teams out there, and you're going to be out there. Hey, let's just go play a non-conference game because I think it was reported by CBS Sports. It was originally supposed to be a home and home. And then obviously I forgot to throw in the ACC SEC challenge too. So that's 7, right? Yeah, 7 if that Vegas NIL tournament comes to fruition, high major games. In my opinion, it's great for television. It's great for fans. Might be too much because start losing some. Like you go 3 and 4 in those games, and you're if I do quick math, you're 6 and 4, 7 and 4 going into ACC play already. I mean that could knock you down a couple of seeds in the NCAA tournament. Although you would be prepared, assumingly well for March Madness.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I think daunting is a great word for it. Obviously, we'll be able to talk way more about the non-conference schedule once we get the final opponents in place. But the reports that are out there about that Kansas game in Las Vegas, and then if more games are added to the fold for Duke, that's going to be absolutely crazy. I'm excited for a true road game at Arizona. I think those things are going to be awesome to watch in the years to come if Duke can get more of those things. So really cool to see the schedule be put together. So I think it's daunting. I think it's impressive. I think it's exciting. I think it's a lot of different things. So,
and then all that, the one thing I didn't add is, again, nothing's confirmed, but typically the game they play in New York City in the non-conference schedule, like last year they played Baylor. Like they don't play a slouch team in that. Like it would be a high-end major type team. So I still have my doubts about that Vegas NIL tournament. But yeah, if you want to try to sort through everything that has been rumored out there, it could be a well of a schedule.
That's true. I mean, look, Duke basketball's got to make a trip north. They got to go to the Big Apple every year. Got to play a game at the home away from home there at Cameron North. So awesome stuff. All right, one more timeout here today, and then we'll have a couple of more winding down this Fill in the Blank Friday with our good friend Kevin Connelly from Ball Durham. Locked On Blue Devils here today, brought to you by our friends at eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything that you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with the eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or you're getting your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. Final few moments here on today's episode of Locked On Blue Devils. JJ Jackson, joined today by my pal Kevin Connelly, the site expert for Ball Durham. All right, we got 2 left to go, so we'll race through these, Kevin. Our next one here, blank will be the most important returning player for Duke basketball next year. We did this exact same offseason question in fill-in-the-blank fashion last year and had way more choices than we do this year. So there's your question, my friend. Blank will be the most important returning player for Duke basketball. Had to bring it back, except this year, not as many choices to choose from.
Yeah, you only get two choices, really, right? Tyrese Proctor or Caleb Foster. I'll go Tyrese Proctor, though, because he's going to be the point guard, right? I think Tyrese Proctor, you need to see the consistency out of him. You saw it in spurts over the course of the first two seasons. Obviously, last year had some injuries he was dealing with throughout ACC play and even late in the non-conference play as well. But it's Tyrese Proctor. He's the point guard. He's going to be the guy with the ball in his hands, and he's going to be the guy trying to set up Cooper Flagg and Kamen Malawak and all these other big talented players that Duke has. So I think it's Tyrese Proctor. Yes, Caleb Foster is going to play a big role as a shooter, as the two guard. But Tyrese Proctor has to be the most important player next year.
100% agree. The experience he's already got, his ability to control the game, put these freshmen in spots to succeed, it's got to be Proctor. And I'm really excited that he's coming back and to see what that looks like. All right, last one for the day. Blank will be the most impactful Duke NBA rookie next season.
It's another question mark, because you only got two to pick from, right? It's only going to be Kyle Filipowski or Jared McCain. Now, I think a lot of people would go with Jared McCain. I'm going to go Kyle Filipowski,
Okay.
and I'll give you this reasoning. I think Filipowski is going to be selected before McCain. So in theory, he's on a worse team. And I think that'll free up more playing time for him so he has more impact on his next team, while Jared McCain might not have as much playing time given to him, since I think he'll be selected by a team later in the first round and be on a better team. And obviously they have really good players. So he might be on the bench a little bit more than Filipowski. So that's why I'll say it's going to be Kyle Filipowski.
That's a really well thought out answer. And I don't know that I can argue that at all, Kevin, because I think you're right. Opportunity is going to be the biggest thing in the whole wide world. And while we both think Jared McCain is going to have an impactful career, maybe right out of the gates as a rookie, it might take a little bit for McCain to find his footing and to get those opportunities next season.
Yeah, because you think Jared McCain, he has this great three-point shot, and even if he gets selected by a contender, they could use him right away. But it's not often you see even rookies who take guys who are good shooters. Take a look, for example, the New Orleans Pelicans last year, taking Jordan Hawkins out of Connecticut, and he was pinned as the greatest shooter in that draft class. And he really split time from the G League and the NBA and really never caught on that much for the Pelicans, who ended up being a playoff team this year. So I think you could see a similar role for Jared McCain if he is selected by a playoff contender or a championship caliber team, as opposed to Kyle Filipowski, who I think will be in the lottery and a team that maybe doesn't have those immediate playoff expectations, try to progress him along and get him as much playing time as possible.
A lot of fun as always going through these fill-in-the-blank topics on this Friday. Kevin, your time is always greatly appreciated, and I'm looking forward to more conversations with you in the weeks to come. Thank you for being here today, my friend.
Thanks, JJ.
All right, that's Kevin Connelly, the site expert from Ball Durham, joining us here on today's episode of Locked On Blue Devils. Go back and in the comment section, let us know how you would answer those fill-in-the-blank topics. Subscribe to our podcast, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on X at LO_Blue Devils. That'll do it for today's show. As always, go Duke. I'll talk to you tomorrow. My name is JJ Jackson. Thank you and good day.